struggles for democratic society. For Ambedkar, society means associated living. Associated living is another name for democracy. It means showing respect and concern for fellow beings. Society should nurture the feeling of belongingness by exhibiting solidarity. Society means communication among individuals and groups of people rather than living in isolation. He looks for society as a community that is based on strong foundations of morality. Ambedkar saw Hindu society as being antithetical to these ideals. Ambedkar believed that the Hindu social ideal as prescribed by Hindu religion has acted as a most demoralizing and degrading influence on Hindu society. It consists of an innumerable collection of castes which are exclusive in their life and have no common experience to share and have no bond of sympathy. The existence of the caste system is a standing denial of the existence of those ideals of society and therefore of democracy. Ambedkar further argued for the prosperity of the full capacity of an individual. There is in a man an indefinite pluralities of capacities and activities which may characterize an individual. A society to be democratic should open a way to use all the capacities of the individual. Stratification is stunting of the growth of the individual, and deliberate stunting is a deliberate denial of democracy. Ambedkar reiterates his vision of social democracy through his writings and struggles. The election manifesto of the Scheduled Castes Federation illustrates his position on social democracy. The party will treat all Indians not only as being equal before the law, but being entitled to equality, and will accordingly foster equality where it does not exist and uphold where it is denied. It will regard every Indian as an end in himself with a right to his own development in his own way, and the state as only a means to that end. It will uphold the right of every Indian to equality of opportunity, subject to the provision that those who have had none in the past shall have priority over those who had. It will keep the state ever aware of its obligation to make every Indian free from want and free from fear. It will insist on the maintenance of liberty, equality and fraternity, and will strive for redemption from oppression and exploitation of man by man, of class by class, and of nation by nation. It will stand for a parliamentary system of government as being the best form of government, both in the interest of public and the interest of the individual. Ambedkar is an important political philosopher who contributed to the tradition of social democracy. In principle, he argued for one man, one value and equality before law in a hierarchical society. Ambedkar's conception of democracy represents a liberalism of a different kind, encompassing elements of socialism. Equality, in both theory and practice, is an essential component of his conception of democracy. He wanted to broaden the scope of equality from political domain to include social and economic domains as well. His conception of democracy has both instrumental and intrinsic values. He moves beyond liberalism by arguing that the essence of democracy lies in associative, communicative and righteous social life. He brings in a communitarian view of democracy that is based on strong foundations of morality. Ambedkar is critical about Hindu community, which does not recognize the individual worth and capabilities. He attacks Hinduism for its non-recognition of human personality and its deliberate abasement. He observed that the philosophy of Hinduism from the viewpoint of justice reveals that it is inimical to equality, antagonistic to liberty, and opposed to fraternity. He proposes a moral community based on the principles of equality, liberty and fraternity. He believes that individuals make sense of their identity in a moral community and proposes reflexive individualism. Ambedkar argues that social and economic democracies are the tissues and fiber of a political democracy. He maintains that the tougher the tissue and fiber, the greater the strength of the body. Moreover, the strength of Ambedkar's vision of social democracy lies in balancing equality, liberty and fraternity in both idealistic and realistic terms. For Ambedkar, the roots of democracy lie not in the form of government, but in social relations. He maintains that the preconditions for the success of democracy are that there must not be glaring inequalities in society, and there must be statutory provisions to mitigate the sufferings and safeguard the interests of the oppressed. Ambedkar considers that disadvantage should be the constitutive basis of the state. He demands special considerations for certain groups based on disadvantage, disability, subordination, oppression and injustice. He developed a complex set of criteria to determine the state of disadvantage and attempted to specify its various gradations. He argues for a need for a system of safeguards for the disadvantaged in general and untouchables in particular. Ambedkar observed that the rights guaranteed by the state are not enough to protect the rights of Dalits. Social and moral conscience to protect laws are also required. He puts more emphasis on the moral society and its customs than on the written legal law in governing people. He considers that social morality is required for effective functioning of a democratic form of social democracy government.